Right guys, I'm back. I'm back with another one. And just having a little look at Bitcoin today. Gonna go through a few altcoins again. Gonna also talk about the Discord diary. You know, to track your trades. We're also gonna be talking about people trying to catch falling knives all the time and then end up getting wrecked by the market. We're going to talk about scalping, and we're going to talk about long-term trading as well. So let's get straight into it, guys. So I'm on the Bitcoin chart, having a little look through it, and got certain areas marking out. But if you look here, so I'll remove that. I mean, that's a daily bullish fair value gap. So at the minute, on the volume profile, this is the anchored volume profile. So I'm looking at the anchored volume profile at the minute. And if you have a look at this area here is where most trades are happening at the minute. 90% of trades in Bitcoin are happening in this big area here. So generally on the volume profile, what you'll see is it comes up here where there's no volume. You can see there's no volume up there. And then it drops away. It came all the way back down here. There's no volume. The next little node of volume is around that area there. On my prediction, I predicted it would go down to around the 40s, which it did previously, around 49k, and then potentially push off from there. We've also got another fair value gap here. This is on the weekly, between 43 and 47. But where I'm looking at the minute, we're above the point of control. We've got liquidity lying at around 70k. Big areas of liquidity. We've also got a load of liquidity lying down at 49k. So also what you've got to look at is, if you have a little look, the volume is still going down. We're not having the same sort of volume as what we had here when we eventually started to push up. Volume is fairly flat at the minute. This is on the weekly. So your volume's fairly flat. But also what you've got to look at is, if you look at the bearish candle here, how it came down and it got bought back up fairly quick. Another one, it came down, got bought back up fairly quick. The push was fairly obvious. Also, with it being in a fair value gap, a weekly fair value gap between these areas of 60 and 62.6, it got bought back up fairly quick. So, where I'm looking at here is potentially these areas to get taken out. Up above, we could come lower again. We could just, but we're still inside this range. We've not broken out of this range. We're still in it. The range is here. We're still inside this range, and we've been inside that range for a very long time now. If we have a look how long we've actually been inside this range at the minute. Excuse me. We've been inside this range now for 224 days. And we've not broken out either side of it. So, it's one of them. At the minute, trading inside this range. Obviously, sell the top, buy the bottom. That's what you've got to look at. But at the minute, the chart looks bullish to me. I probably won't be taking any trades personally myself. I want to see it take that liquidity out up above. Up around, like I say, around 70k area. I want to see that area get taken out before I potentially take a short. But I'm only going to take a short into around, I think it were around 64. So I'm going to drop down into the daily. Let me just remove this box. So dropping down into the daily, we've got a bullish fair value gap here. See, if you have a look at this bearish fair value gap there, how it tagged it and then it did drop off again. Didn't sweep that. That was some nice liquidity lying at around 59.8. We never swept that. Potential longs between 64.7 and 63.4. There could be potential long areas. But I wouldn't just ape in. I'd actually be looking at where you want to scale into these areas. But on my personal opinion, I do think it's going to sweep out these highs. That's personally what I think. It might not. Bitcoin's very unpredictable at the minute. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. So, yeah. Let's look at dominance. Let's have a little look at BTC dominance. Dominance just keeps going. There's been no significant pullback. There's been slight pullbacks of 2%. But, if you're looking at this, when it's pulling back a couple of percent, it's pumping off. If you just literally go through it here, 5%, 4%, 3%, and they kept getting less and less and less and less, and then it fires off. So every time it got less, these little pullbacks, it's pushed 10% from them pullbacks. So I've got an area marked out on BTC dominance, this potential area here, where you can see my line, what I'm predicting here, sweep above that. Altcoins are going to get smashed. Unfortunately, altcoins will get smashed during this process, but it is what it is. And before we can see an altcoin rally, fill this area out and then start to dump. But we'll see. But when we see this dump, we want to see BTC consolidate. We don't want to see BTC follow it, because if BTC follows it, they're going to follow it, and it's not going to be good. USDT dominance. Let's go to the weekly. Same sort of scenario on BTC, USDT dominance. We really want to see it drop below these areas where people are going to start putting the money in, which it looks like people are at the minute. Let's have a look at total 3. Total 3 is above the value area high. Total 3 potentially creating another point of control around here. If we can hold this area, we could potentially be going for these tops here. It's going to happen fairly fast. So these are your areas on total 3 to keep an eye on as well. Like I was saying, with your Discord, all you've got to do is start your own channel on Discord. You don't have to invite anybody into it. Sign up to Discord if you haven't got Discord, or just, you know, create a channel in Discord, and then just put, obviously, your long-term long positions, shorts, scalps, things like that. As you all know, I'm not really a fan of scalps. Don't really like scalps that much, so I try and avoid them as much as I can, because it's not my sort of trading style. Other people's it might be, but I'm not really a scalper. I'm a guy that likes to get into trades for long terms, to see, you know, you've got. So let's take an example here. So we'll just go into BTC as an example. So BTC, most of my long terms I'll do on the daily. I will look at the weekly first. So having a little look at BTC here. So BTC, if you look at BTC right here, we've got an order block there. Close that away a minute. We've also got a fair value gap there. Also another confluence in that fair value gap. We had a daily bearish one there. We've inverted that daily bearish one. We came in, we tagged it, and off we went. Easy as that. And if you're holding that for long term, so if you get in as soon as it's tapped in there, your stop's going to be below that low there. And then your obvious areas of liquidity, obviously you've got one here. Which is a 1 to 3, which is still a great trade. And then we've also got another area of liquidity just up above us there. So if you're aiming for that up there, look at that on a long term. It's a fairly easy trade to take. It's not difficult at all, is it? So then also you can look at another one here. Let's remove that. Bearish order block there. Or fair value gap. Sorry. Move that away a second. Bearish fair value gap. Inverts the fair value gap. Tags into the fair value gap. And off she goes again. Pretty easy. It is pretty easy. And what you will see is, if we're bearish or we're bullish, so once we've inverted these fair value gaps, you want to start creating other fair value gaps on the other side. So you want to start creating bullish fair value gaps. This is why we've got one here. So we've got another bullish fair value gap right there. What a lot of people will tend to do is, though, is market structure. They'll look at market structure. So if this starts to come down like this, instead of actually looking at that bullish fair value gap there and thinking, that could potentially hold, I wouldn't enter there straight away. A lot of people will just enter. You've got to look at the price action. If we come into this bullish fair value gap and we start to go sideways, that's potentially telling me to take the long. If we come into that bullish fair value gap and do something along these lines, if we come into this bullish fair value gap and we sweep it, tag it, then you can be looking for shorts. And just look for your local areas of liquidity there, there, there. You know, have a trade in there. have your short position set up in there. You'll be putting your stopper there. You're looking for that local area of liquidity there. You don't have to take all your full profit there. You can then look for this lower area here, here, and then here. And this is why I like long-term trades. Because you're not, with scalping. Some people are good at it. Some people aren't good at it. I'm not saying don't scalp. If you want to scalp, scalp. Totally your choice. But, things like double tops, double bottoms, they're all bollocks. I'm just telling you my point of view. They're all bollocks to me. They don't work. One thing that works for me is these fair value gaps. And that's what I like to look at. Certain fair value gaps. It's pointless hoping that it's going to drop. At least if you've got a trading strategy that you can think, yeah, this is where I could potentially be going long. Small stop loss. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Can I change my bias then? And then go short. That's what you need to look at. A lot of people, what will happen is they'll get stopped out and then they'll be scared to get into another trade. I see it all the time. So when you see certain coins in red, a lot of people naturally inside you want to close that trade because it's in the red. But then you'll come back to the chart a week later and have a look at where you've closed it. And then if you hadn't closed it, you'd have been back in profit. But because psychologically, when it's in the red, it hurts. Naturally, as a human, you want to close it. When it's in the green, you're happy, you're euphoric. Your endorphins get going. And you think, yeah, I'm in profit. Instead of booking profit, what they do is they leave it, and then it ends up in the red. And then they want to close it in the red. And that's how people keep losing money constantly in the markets. It's as simple as that. So I'm just going to have a quick shift through a few altcoins, see what's going on, see where we're at, see what we're doing. That last statement, just keep it up in here. Food for thought. Yeah. Storage. Let's have a little look at storage. What we're doing. Where we're going. So, storage. Just remove them. So we've had an impulse. We've created a fair value gap. We've come and tagged into that fair value gap. And then we've took off again. I did, in the group that I'm in the Telegram group that I'm in, I did say there was 2 potential trades in storage. Just take a look. And there were your potential trades. So if you had gone long in storage, when it touched that fair value gap, the only problem here is your risk to rewards pretty crap. So then what you want to do is drop down into the 4-hour daily fair value gap. Then we had a 4-hour fair value gap here that we did tag into. Long position here at the midpoint. Below that candle, aiming for liquidity up higher. So 1 to 2 is not a bad trade. Long term, let's have a little look. Swept out that high now. We'll come back down in this fair value gap, start to go sideways, possibly push off. area of liquidity there. We're inside a previous bearish fair value gap at the minute. If you have a little look, we're inside that fair value gap. That's on the daily. Never tagged into. So it's an untagged fair value gap, which we are tagging at the minute. So be careful with your longs there. You want to see it invert, really. And then you can take your longs. I wouldn't just ape in. Let's mark it out again. Marked it out. Let's have a little look. We want to see it fire through, invert, tag, and then go again for this liquidity up here. That's what we're looking at in storage. What else have we got? Let's have a little look. Fucking meme coins. Fucking hate them. I don't even like to look at them. Rune. Rune. See, this is why I just use fair value gaps. So it's so much easier. See, like you had a bearish one here. Tagged it, come down. Didn't take out that area of liquidity, but it's tagged it several times. No, won't be touching Rune. Atom in a major downtrend. Let's have a little look at Atom. You know, most coins, like say, using these volume profiles, fucking piece of piss using these volume profiles. They generally come back down to the point of control. Back at the point of control. And I was saying to somebody yesterday, I was looking at the pairs versus BTC. And most pairs are absolutely getting wrecked by BTC. So, with, I'm not a fan of meme coins, but I'll have a little look. These were just some of that I was showing people in the group earlier. The higher time frame rules, always. So if you're using trend lines, that's your trend line. It's never brought below the trend line, as they would say, using trend lines, but I don't use trend lines. We're also inside a big daily bullish fair value gap. We are at the value area high at the minute. And we've got a lot of volume in there. But if you look at the volume gaps, you see how fast they move through the volume gaps. They move fairly quick through these volume gaps. Most coins do. And they always want to try and get back down to this point of control. Going sideways and then firing off. Or dipping below the value area low. We're in this bullish fair value gap at the minute. Be a risky one because you're at the value area high as well. So I probably wouldn't take that. Down here, yeah, maybe. But not up there. MKR is at the value area low at the minute. point of controls. MKR's getting absolutely battered, if I'm being honest with you. Wouldn't be something that I'd be looking into taking a trade on. Let's go up into the weekly a minute. Yeah, it's getting absolutely battered. So with MKR, what you want to see it just sweep sideways and fire off. That's what you want to be looking at. We've got a small fair value gap there. You want to see it invert that fair value gap, tag into it, and then go off. Until then, I won't touch it. Problem is, like I say, with MKR, it's in a downtrend. It's at the value area low. You know, if you have a little look at the way it goes sideways before it does fire off. You want to see it start going sideways before firing off. Don't just ape in on these trades, because you're probably going to end up getting wrecked. I'll do one more and then that'll be it. ETH. Let's have a look at ETH. Looks about right. That's what I predicted. That's what it looked like it's going to do to me. That's what it's done. Easy as that. Above the value area high at the minute, ETH. Could go sideways in this area for a while before it does fire off. Same with ETH on the weekly. Problem we've got here is bearish fair value gap. Not really creating any bullish fair value gaps. Let's drop into the daily. Let's have a little look. So we've got a bearish fair value gap there. Has been inverted. Tagged into it there at 2.5. Areas of liquidity 273, 2687, 2823. But like I say with ETH, when my volume profile comes up, we are above the value area high. I'm not saying it's not going to keep going, because it potentially could keep going. But ETH, nobody wants ETH. Everybody wants BTC. Simple as that. Everybody wants BTC. And if you're looking at it at the minute, nobody wants altcoins. Nobody. Who wants altcoins when you can buy BTC? That's what I want to be looking at. I'm going to do SUI and then I'm out of here. SUI. See, if you look now, the point of control's moved back up here. I think previously the point of control were down here, and now the point of control's moved. We've also got, look at this here. I marked out a fair value gap, tag, and then it's pushed off. The only problem is a recent bullish fair value gap which were there has been inverted now. I don't really like to take trades where they've got fair value gap there and a fair value gap there. They're too close for me. Any weekly ones that we've not tagged? Yep. So we had a weekly bearish one there. We've got a bullish weekly one there. See how they all line up perfectly. It's really nice to use this formation to take your trades. So this could be an area where we go long. Keep an eye on that area there on SUI between 1.4 and 11421. But I'm going to get off now. Trying to keep them a little bit short, these videos. Keep it out for my shorts that I'm doing on YouTube. Also, I've got a new series coming up, and it's about the VIP signals that's in the CWP members, premium members. I'm going to be doing a series on that. I'm going to go through all the signals that are in there to see, you know, I'm going to do 10 months of data to see which one is either a fake guru or they are actually good at reading charts. So keep an eye out for that series that's coming up very, very soon, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, show me some love. As you know, there's Buy Me a Coffee. You can donate to me there. Tiny donations if you want. I'm not really bothered. It's there if you want to donate to help me keep making these videos. Keep me spurred on to make these videos. And yeah, that's about it. And I will catch you all in the next one, guys. Happy trading.